Hi, welcome to Dr. VASU'S lectures. In continuation of our C language, we are going to see the advantages and disadvantages of C. So, advantages. Building block for many programs. Whatever the type of program you want to make with the C, this helps like a building block. In the sense, suppose if you want to build a house, a block by block you will be building. Similarly, to write any amount of any sort of program, whatever big may be, this acts like a building block. So it can be used for any type of programming. Very powerful and efficient. It has built-in data types and operators. You will see all these in detail in the coming modules. Portable language, that is, we can the program whatever is written can be run on any machine. Built-in functions also are available. It's a structured programming. Large programs can be divided into smaller parts called functions. So for this large program is divided into small parts, and each part can be used many a number of times and wherever is required. So any number of times it can be used. So these functions will help in building a bigger program. So this is a structured programming. Procedural language. We call this C as a procedural language because the small blocks of code is used, right? And these are called functions or procedures. The small functions or the procedures which are used help like a small building blocks. So these functions can be repeatedly used whenever required. Functions define and operate a task on how to do and what to do. So wherever you require that function, it can be utilized. Follows a procedure or a systematic steps. This follows a particular procedure or systematic steps. That's why you call it as a procedural language. It's called a middle level language. Why? Because this language is this C is almost nearer to the machine language. It executes the programs very fast, and it's very nearer to the low level language. That's why even though we call it as a high level language, we can call it as a middle level language, but it has all the features and everything. It's nothing but a high level language. So it's something like filling the gap between the low level and high level. It's almost, it will be coming in between. Allows manipulation of bits and bytes. It has a feature of allowing the data to such an extent that we can manipulate the bits and bytes. We'll see all these things in the coming modules. Supports the features of both the low level and high level languages. It supports both the that's why you call it as middle level language. Next. Like, share and comment and subscribe to Dr. VASU'S lectures and get more videos. Thank you. In continuation of advantages, implementation of algorithms. Algorithms can be implemented in this. We'll see that. Data structures is a powerful feature and is very effectively can be utilized. Dynamic memory allocation, right? That is dynamic memory allocation in the sense, at the time of running or executing a program, the memory allocation can be done. That's why we call it as a dynamic memory allocation. That preserves the resources. Basically, the resources are preserved or utilized in a very smaller way. System programming. Basically, this C language itself was developed to develop an operating system called Unix. So Unix operating system is one which is developed with this. Next comes disadvantages. even though it has all the advantages, it has a few disadvantages also. And let us see what. It doesn't support the OOPS concept. OOPS in the sense object-oriented programming. Object-oriented programming is not supported in this. Next, so it has class, object, inheritance, and encapsulation. This OOPS concept has all this, and this is not supported by C. No runtime checking, in the sense, no checking can be done while writing the program. When you are writing the program, whether you are doing some mistake, some syntax mistakes, or some sort of variable mismatch, or some sort of mistakes cannot be identified. So no runtime checking, no, while writing the program is not there. Errors are identified only after compilation of the entire program. We know that C programs are compiled. Entire program is compiled at once and builds a object code that is useful for the computer. So the machine level language a program is prepared. So this compiled program, after compilation of entire program only, we come to know the errors. That is the one disadvantage. It doesn't support namespace. Namespace is one concept where we will be having, it means a language which supports two variables with the same name. Suppose we have a variable named A. This A means it may be an integer or having a decimal points or a character or some sort of a thing. It is defined priorly. It cannot handle other type of data. Once it is defined as an integer, it handles only integers. So namespace means, suppose two variables can be given the same name. A can handle, suppose, a letter and an integer. Then we call it as a namespace. Some languages they support, but here this C doesn't support the namespace. No constructor or destructor. That is, these concepts, these functions are comes under OOPS concepts. Because OOPS is not supported, these features are not available in this. Low level abstraction, in the sense data hiding is less, cannot hide the data. Data hiding is very less, and data security also cannot provide. So these are the various disadvantages. Another thing, lack of exception handling. Exception handling is one, that is, while writing the program, suppose we did a mistake, right? Suppose while writing the program, we did a mistake and we have taken some variable, an integer, but it must be something else. This, while compilation, this doesn't understand, or this doesn't highlight this is the mistake or something like that. It carries on and gives the compilation process. Compilation process is done, and only in the end we'll come to know when you are giving the data. That is, while compiling, sometimes we get runtime errors, right? It won't display them while running. Runtime errors only when you are running the program, we get them. But at the time of compilation, it cannot identify. It won't display any sort of errors. Depending on the input value, errors may be obtained. As I am telling, suppose some A is defined as a character, as a letter, but I am trying to give some variable name, some integer value, because I want to do some calculations. Because it is defined as a character, it acts like a character only, cannot be used as in mathematics. We cannot do any arithmetic operations. That's why this input values, the errors whatever occur, they will be visible only at the time of running the program, execution of the program. While compiling, it takes as if it is some value and gives out the compiled program. They are to be rectified. They are to be rectified here. These errors. Errors comes in two ways. One is compile time errors. They can be handled. And runtime errors. These runtime errors, at the time of execution of the program only we will come to know them. If prior to that, we don't know, we don't get this. At the time of compilation, it won't show. Compilation, it shows success and the compiled program is successful. But when you are running the program at the time of execution, these errors will crop up. These errors occur depending on the values that are given, because that A is defined as a letter, a character, but I'm trying to do some mathematical operations on that, arithmetic operations, some A plus B. Some A and B are defined as characters, and I want to do some addition. Cannot be done because these two are characters. So these errors occur depending on the when you are giving the values, these errors crop up, will be visible. Such type of errors are handled by exception handling. So this exception handling means that this type of errors should be handled, but it cannot handle that. This C is lacking this exception handling. C won't support. C is not supporting this sort of exception handling. So these are a few disadvantages of. So let's see another topic in the next module. Thank you.